take long. Oh, peace. Cook. Think fast. In here. Matter of fact, I don't own the copyrights to this. But in here reading this Constantine comic book, and it got to a point where he came across his auntie or one of the characters that's like his parent, and basically she was telling him, you know, maybe you need to get out more and deal with friends. Like you need to, like you're so indulged in what you do. Maybe you need to be more social and get out there. And I thought about the bigger picture too of like the story of Constantine. If you're not familiar with Constantine, matter of fact, they had a movie where Keanu Reeves played Constantine. As a matter of fact, because I talk about how he sat in that bathtub and looked in the cat eyes. He basically was scrying. The cat scrying is basically like when you staring into like a stone or a mirror or something, and staring into something for like a divination answer, like like a connection to higher self, or more so to just communicate with spirits and communicate with higher self in essence. But anyway, a lot of times when I'm reading these books too, especially comics, like it's always synchronized with everything we do. Before I even say that, everything you do is synchronized with a message that your higher self is trying to send to you. It's just the fact that, you know, on the level of how open our third eye is, or how consciously aware of that situation, you know, as far as like, again, our higher self always sending us signs, but it's how consciously aware of it we all are, and that's different levels for all of us. But again, uh, seeing the message, I seen the message to me, like in essence, like, being more social, you know, not so caught up in not seeing your spiritual growth as something like to be, on to the level of taking you away from being social, like that should be mixed in, like that's a part of the growth, is being social as well. But, I see this little aspect, in the book that speaks to, again, like that being overindulged in your work. And matter of fact, Constantine, in essence, fight spirits, and I saw the personification of like when you turn the battle against like quote unquote, lower vibrations, it turns into something that could, consume you in essence. So I see the Constantine situation as a personification of being consumed by externally dealing with, demons, instead of like, internally, like basically going within, because the battle is within and not, externally. Now, of course, again, because we are here on the physical experience and we are co-creating as we do our inner work. Of course, it's going to take some physical action, that means, doing something, dealing with the external world. But, for the most part, it's the inner work. So going within and dealing with these demons, and not thinking that, oh, I got to be against this person or this, thing in order to save the world, And I feel like Constantine, story kind of embodies that. Like the Constantine is basically the symbol of how, if you treat, you know, transmuting negativity and transmuting quote unquote, demons, or these, we could say lower vibrations, for lack of a better word, if you turn it into an external battle, it becomes something that, consumes you and, again, takes you in like that. But, and for myself, for my own growth, seeing, how, it also speaks to my past life, dealing with magic and stuff like that, and how I got so deep into it where I like closed the door on like my social life and on family, stuff like that. And, and that's Carolyn again, like he's so much into, going through that vibe in his conscious, like, man, so many people done transition because of me dealing with this work and me just being reckless, stuff like that, and I ain't got no friends, no family due to my work, stuff like that, but it basically plays on that concept again, like whenever you get too caught up, or should I say caught up just in general in externalizing, that that externalizing that inner battle, because for the most part, cause say for instance, a lot of people be like, oh yeah, well if I'm just focusing inward, then what if somebody come try to hit me or do something like that? Nobody like that's attracted by your subconscious, because you have the subconscious mind frame to feel like, oh, because I'm meditating or doing that, somebody might punch me. Then you're gonna manifest that from that idea, you know what I'm saying? But in all actuality, as you start to do your inner work, your external, lines up with the manifestations of what's going on, and your external lines up with what's going on inside of you, you know what I'm saying? So, and of course you are co-creating. Like I used the example of like me leaving my bike outside by, at my old job and it getting stolen, and I was doing it for days in, days out, but I was being a little too unbalanced about it. Like, of course, my energy had the type of energy. That's why I lasted so long. Like, where I left my bike without being chained, and nobody was gonna steal it. And it was like that. But then I was pushing it, to a place of being unbalanced and not realizing, wait, well, hold on. There's a balance to this energy, because I am also co-creating, with other beings and other people as well. You know what I'm saying? Or, other beings. So again, just see this correlation. No coincidence you come across somebody that's like Papa Wiggle. Even got the Veve on his stomach. So you see like these messages becoming comic books. I'm telling y'all. Not a dead video speaking to it before, but yeah, the whole Constantine vibe is like when you get caught up, in the caught up in the work. Matter of fact, there's a cool point when he come across the specter. The specter is a energy, basically go. Matter of fact, again, as I'm showing this, I do not own the rights. This is for DC Comics. This is not for me. I do not own the rights to any of this. Is what I'm showing you. But again, he come to Constantine. He like, you are marked as a rightful target of divine vengeance, and basically speaking to, so say for instance, let's see, listen to me, Constantine, and look upon the suffering you have caused. Look upon the sacrifices you made. You have gone unpunished for too long. Innocence and altruists cut down in your frenzied quest against the mages of this world. Again, so basically, talking about how all the innocent, loving people that done, end up basically getting killed or transitioning due to, Constantine battling against these mages, or magicians in essence. Let's see. Where others pay with their own life and limb, you cast the ones who would befriend you into the furnace of war. As a matter of fact, they just had a part where he had a brethren who died, along. He was using the brethren to find some type of place, but then the brethren ended up getting killed along the way, and he felt bad about that. As a matter of fact, again, Chris was a valued friend to the mortal who hosts me. He came to you for relief, and you left him to die. Chris is that basically the specter, letting them know that, Chris had an energy, that person, the person who Constantine just used, was also connected to somebody that contacted the specter. Long story short. He's like, you can deny that you deserve the cold touch of my wrath. You stand now at the threshold of death, at the very instance of your final judgment. Can you possibly justify the means with which you purchase your ends? Matter of fact, the specter also dealing with the color green and yellow, kind of having somewhat of that Ogun, justice vibe. Notice how I spoke like the justice card in the tarot deck, being red and green. I'm trying to get to the point where he explained himself, because he did make a good point. All right, Constantine, like I do deserve it. I know I do, and I'm the only bastard willing to fight the campaign to keep that from happening, aren't I? I'm the one making the sacrifices and racking up the debt. me. If it isn't me, whose else is it gonna be? You know, so basically, like, if I don't, you know, live this effed up life of fighting demons, you know, who else gonna do it? You know, and in so many words, I'm helping you out, Spectre, because you also those mages that I'm fighting. You know, but like, you you know who I face, and I can give you their names and addresses if you like. But if you kill me here, you better be ready to finish the job for me. Should be simple for something like you, assuming the world's most powerful mages have already figured out how to neutralize you. Yeah. So basically, again, speaking to the Spectre and like running that game of like, shit, I mean, if you kill me, then you by yourself fighting this battle. You know, regardless of the people who lost their lives, you know, due to my recklessness with fighting these mages, you know, I'm dealing with the fact, you know, that guilt of, you know, them dying, you know, so that's part of my punishment, you know, in so many words. But you know, and matter of fact, the speaker, like the Spectre, like, you speak the truth, you know. Fight your war, then, Constantine. Win or lose, I will be there to collect you at the moment of your death, to ensure that you pay dearly for what you have so coolly taken. Uh, but you know, again, you know, seeing again how being caught up in, you know, because again, kind of so into fighting these mages, you know, externally, and just because again, he also feeling like, I'm gonna take it upon myself to stop people from being extremely powerful, because he deal with magic on a level where, you know, it's kind of like to manipulate and be powerful, you know, almost like on a sorcerer type of level. And you know, check out my video on the sacral chakra, and you know, and how our sacral chakras being manipulated. And any video I did on mind control and social engineering and LSD, you know, also point to that, because that's basically, you know, like magician work as well, you know, in essence, like with chemicals in essence. But yeah, just want to share that vibe, you know, and just, you know, again, feeling that vibe of like, you know, high self was like, you know, Constantine's story is a personification of, you know, being indulgent externally trying to fight demons, you know, because here it is, well, basically he fighting them, but I mean, shit, is he really winning? You know what I'm saying? Like, in what battle is he really fighting, you know? You know, in that sense. But again, it's just a look. Think fast. I'm in here getting my comic book on. Again, I do not own the rights of this comic book or this story or anything. This is for DC Comics. This is not for me. But peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past.